Hello everybody, and I'm here to tell you about a phrase you have probably heard about on the anti-SJW side of YouTube. Go woke, go broke. This phrase communicates the exact idea it says on the label. You make a leftist piece of media and you will face imminent financial destruction. This is a lot of people's opinion about leftism inside of the media. I could see how somebody could start thinking like this. First, seeing the Ghostbusters 2016 reboot. The reboot of 2016 Ghostbusters, where the entire cast is made up of women and had a very feminist messaging to it, it then infamously bombed the box office. Now we see a lot of repeats of this exact scenario. That in 2023, Indiana Jones and the Didgeridoo of Duplo, or whatever it was called, is a really good example of this. I disagree with this concept from multiple reasons, which I will try to prove within this video, of why go woke, go broke is way more complicated than you think. Part 1. The literally dark origins of the word woke. The word woke had origins in the black community, where the word meant to be aware of systemic and casual racism, to be awake and conscious of the discrimination around you, and to not let a racist white man steal your soul from you. Steal your soul. They want to steal your soul. Steal your soul. Leftists started using this term to criticize people like Richard Spencer and actual racists, telling people to stay woke and not fall for their lies. Then leftists started to use the term more and more. Then the right started to refer to leftists as fake woke, then just woke. Now we have the term as used in 2020 and onwards. This is also the same time where our media started to get more and more quote unquote woke, trying to posture as all-knowing, but then became worse and worse. And came the phrase, go woke, go broke, because of the infamous 2016 Ghostbusters flop. Part 2. 3 ways to go woke and not go broke. 1. Be really good. A good way to escape the mantra of go woke, go broke is just being so good at the stuff that anybody of any political line will make a purchase. An example of what I am talking about is the hit indie game Celeste. Celeste is, when you think about left-leaning, its storyline is about mental health and anxiety, and the protagonist being a trans woman. Good examples of the game's political alignment. But when people talk about the game, they aren't talking about the representation. They talk about the amazing soundtrack, the beautiful art, lovely characters, and the brutally difficult but rewarding platforming gameplay requiring intelligence and skill to master. It is such a good game that its leftist elements just fade away because, well, there is so much else to talk about. It's so fun playing the game no matter your political standing, so you can enjoy this platforming gem. I've played parts of it. It's good. It's good. It's so good. Chapter 2. Be too big to fail. Now, if you really just can't be bothered to make something good with your politics, and you just want to get your leftist ideology in the cultural discussion, then just latch onto a pre-existing property. Just buy a saddle and just latch yourself on. Just giddy up, partner. Giddy up, partner. See, no matter how woke Marvel or Star Wars is, millions will come to consume. But Disney and Marvel are failing. Well, that's because of things like budget and ROI. Death by 1,000 cuts, you see? It doesn't take much to explain. Wokeness can't just sink certain franchises all on its own, especially when they have assistance. Maybe like some sort of profit incentive to go woke. This is how we segue into the third way to go woke and not go broke. The third way to insert leftist politics into your media and not go woke is ESG. Money sweep, let's go, baby. The third way to win is by the force of ESG. If you don't know, ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Government. It means the more social justice virtue signaling you do, the more benefits you'll get from BlackRock and Vanguard. This is the main reason why there's so much leftism in media. It's a power play by BlackRock so that they can control you. I'll talk more about that into the future. I'll link a video in the description that's all about ESG. Now that's been covered, I can get to the 2 conditions you need to fulfill to quote unquote go woke and go broke. How to go woke, quote unquote, and go broke. Be bad without leftist politics. Imagine Velma without any leftist politics. It still just kinda sucks. The jokes land as well as a pancake with an explosive Oppenheimer bomb strapped to it. The mystery storyline is uninteresting, having a culprit that just doesn't make sense, instead of having one that relates to the main character well and is a fitting narrative payoff. And the show thinks it's super meta and super smart when no, you're not. You're Velma. Also, it is Scooby-Doo. Who likes Scooby-Doo? Genuine question. This leads us to number 2. 2. Be niche and small. Star Wars and Marvel are gigantic and won't be taken down by this very easily. But a smaller property like Scooby-Doo or the Ghostbusters will. The Ghostbusters have been destroyed, only being able to whimper out one more movie after 2016 came out. How likely will it be that Scooby-Doo returns to normal and very quickly after what happened with Velma? When you have a smaller property, it can be sunk by smaller things. Like, for example, let's say there were 2 boats and you throw a hammer at it. If you threw a hammer at the Titanic, it wouldn't do much, if anything. But if there's a little kayaking raft that you threw a hammer at, yeah, that is not going to be a good kayaking raft anymore. So, you have to be like Ghostbusters tier or lower in fame to be sunk by overbearing leftism. Ghostbusters is nostalgic for some, but not the utter dominance of Star Wars and its star power. For examining it all, so do you go woke and grow broke, or do you gain loads of cash case by case? It's a case by case thing, like with all in life. With the advent of ESG, it's easier to insert leftist politics into your media without having to worry about a dissenting crowd that'll make you go broke if your audience just isn't into that sort of thing. But sometimes you'll be like so little that not even ESG will save you. Like the example of Indiana Jones and the in The Little Mermaid 2023. It's not black and white, which is why I took you on this adventure. Yes, you, this special you, you're cool. I know who's watching this. Cool. So, that you could understand this term, or more accurately, phrase better, I think most, if not all, political slogans cannot be taken at face value. You cannot sum up an entire phenomena's history and effect on people today so easily. Political arguments where the two sides are just shouting slogans at each other should not be called debates. Like in a politics and games debate where one side just says, keep politics out of games. Other side retorts, well, what about Metal Gear? And also, all art is political. That isn't a debate. You're just slogan shouting. One could even say, go woke, go broke is more complicated than you think. Okay, boom.